There we go. It was a bit of something different. John Legend with Ordinary People. That's sort of a bit of a very good segue there. Because I'm not saying that my next guest is an ordinary person, but how would you describe yourself, Teresa?
How would I describe myself?
Yeah.
Lots of ways, I guess. I'm a Christian. I'm a teacher for 30 years.
Oh.
So I'm a very genuine person. I'm in the by-election, by the way, for your viewers.
Yes,
And the Secret Harbour by-election. I'm a very honest, genuine person. I think I'm for my political interests, I'm a very solutions-driven person. I like to, what's the answer? What's the solution to, solve the problem in society? Whether it's when people are dealing with problems and issues, and how we can fix things, how we can fix issues and problems in our society. Because we're always talking about the problems and issues, aren't we?
We are.
But then we need to have people who can have good solutions and good answers, and I'm that sort of person. I like to think, like on my core flute I've put here, I'm your fix-it leader, for example. You know what I mean? So I'm often thinking, the way that I think is to, okay, what's the problem? So how do we fix this problem? To improve people's lives, to benefit people's lives, to enhance people's lives. As your brilliant radio station, I come in here and I see, your volunteers. I see this wonderful setup, IPL, how you want to inspire people to something great and something good. And I love that. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I think I was saying we had the Owen Farmer he does a lot with homelessness people. And like I said to him, whether it's like a local by-election here or any other community group, which is voluntary run, and they want a voice, we can give them a voice. Now, I think you mentioned just off air, but there's been very little media coverage of the by-election.
It's, as we just discussed, Nick, it's disgusting that it's, all these media services, and then they just focus on a few candidates. There's 16 candidates, right? Now, all the candidates have something to contribute, so it's wonderful that you're interviewing all the candidates, and now they should be full-on actively contacting the candidates and interviewing the candidates and getting all their perspective, because the voters need to know, and to be able to meet the voters. And interesting, in the ballot draw, there was there's 16 candidates.
Yeah, that's right.
And only 6 candidates showed up for the ballot draw.
Oh, seriously?
And out of the 6 candidates, only 6 candidates have their mobile phone listed for contact, which I'm one of those candidates. Now, when you're talking about media coverage and all that, the voters need to be able to talk to the candidate on the phone or in person, because how do you trust that person? Do you know what I mean? How do you...
I agree 100%. And one of the things that I've tried to do with all the candidates, and there we do have some questions which I'll just flick across you so you can peruse. But what the thing I think is that, and when I've had the people in here, Teresa, I like to know a little bit about them.
Yes.
Because they can all come in here and talk about, cost of living, like homelessness, petrol price. They all come here and talk about that, and we know that they are issues. But I want to know, why you went into politics. What is your background to a degree as a, so we get to know Teresa rather than the politician, a bit about Teresa the person. So you're an ex-teacher, or?
Yeah, I'll be a teacher forever till,
Oh, you're still teaching?
Well, I teach the public now. I have a Master of Education specialising in leadership and management.
Wow.
From Notre Dame University, and I have been a qualified and experienced teacher for 30 years.
This is what people want. Oh, well, I think people should know.
Yes, of course. And I worked in the school system in Western Australia, high school mostly, for 20 years, nearly 20 years. I've taught in Rockingham High School and Warnborough Community High School. I was a social studies teacher. but I also taught physical education. So I mostly taught phys ed. So I'm a sport teacher. So I'm a very active, practical person. And we're talking about solutions. I'm a very, very practical person. So, and I have quite a strong connection with this area for the teaching work I've done. But also, most of my entire family was born and grew up in the Canning Federal Electorate, which this Secret Harbour is one of the state electorates in there. So, you know, mostly Mundijong, Jarradale, Armidale. I went to Armidale High School, and I offered professional development in morals and values education at Secret Harbour Primary School. That was many years ago now. So
yeah, but it's interesting.
Yes.
It's interesting.
Also used to go fishing at the Port Kennedy fishing, and it was a wonderful place to catch tailor. Do you remember that years ago?
Wow.
But now it's all really fished out, isn't it? So I like fishing for relaxation. And, you know, all along Golden Bay there and Medora Bay and Singleton, all that's all catch really good herring. But that tailor spot at Port Kennedy, my family used to go there quite a bit years ago, but I had gone there a few years ago, but I think it's all fished out now. There's absolutely nothing there, so I was pretty disappointed about that, but you know, what do we do?
But that's good because you've got an attachment to the area, and you know, you've had a lot of being a teacher. You would have I would assume a lot of connectivity between Year 2 students, what they're going through, what their parents are going through.
Yes,
schools are a community-based.
Yes.
Area.
In fact, I contacted all the primary schools in the Secret Harbour electorate just a few days ago to try to organise a candidates forum for the candidates. But I've had participated in that before, but unfortunately they don't. They have all these silly rules the government do about can't use the building, you know, before elections, and I hate that. I don't like the bureaucracy that the politicians force on the population. I think it would just trash most of the you know, regulations and rules and these silly fees and costs and that they impose on the community, which I'm very much against. So, you know, these are public buildings and resources, and they should be available to the public for whatever purpose. But it's always, you've got to pay, and you've got to have all this insurance, and you've got to, you know, it's all this. I can't stand it. I think the public needs to really fight for their rights and freedoms and say, well, we had enough of that sort of corruption, really, and why did they get power and they force all these things on the community? It's not right.
It's funny, and I am digressing way off the subject to a degree. And something I can say when you talk about bureaucracy and being forced upon things, and you know, like, it's really strange that I found a lot of people whose principle was, and whether it's right or wrong, that's interesting, but a lot of people's principle was they didn't want to be immunised against COVID. That was their thing.
Yes.
I don't want.
Yeah.
And the government was, we don't have to.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. But if you don't, you won't have a job.
Yeah, you can't work.
So I thought, well, it's not really bureaucracy in that way, but they will argue, so, well, you don't have to have it. I go, yeah, but I've got a wife and 2 kids.
Yes, I know. Now, those pharmaceutical drugs are actually very dangerous, like COVID injection, and psychiatric drugs are very dangerous too, and, you know, euthanasia. So it's the 3rd leading killer in the world is pharmaceutical drugs. So I'm totally against that. I actually promote a Bill of Rights in my political website, which is voterrightsparty.com, and I've built that party up the last 10 years. And one of the rights, I've got 15 rights provisions in the Bill of Rights, you know, for Western Australia, but also for across the nation. And one of them is consent rights. So it's important we have in the law, the whole population has in the law consent rights. So they can't force a pharmaceutical drug on you, an injection or anything like that. It's absolutely disgusting that they say it actually can kill people. So, you know, they can't force a pharmaceutical drug under a Bill of Rights, consent rights. But also they did some really horrific other things too, like stop you working, as you said, stop you travelling, stop you visiting your elderly relative, your grandmother, grandfather, your elderly relative at a hospital without having the jab. And that is just appalling. That is evil and disgusting. And I'll tell you, 90%, Nick, 90% of the Australian population was totally against it. At least 90%, you know. So they have all this force. They force this, and the public must have rights. It must have a Bill of Rights to protect itself, property rights, parental rights, consent rights. These are the sort of rights provisions I put in my Bill of Rights. The rights to a job, the rights to a home, the rights to, you know, small business rights. So all these rights I thought about for the public, you know, like the rights to a home, which the homeless problem, we've got big problems with that, as you know. There's so many problems that we have. But I tell you what, can I just
You can do whatever you like.
Can I? Oh, thank you. That's really sweet. Oh, quickly, can I show you the present that I gave you?
Yes.
Got you. I brought in a present. Where's the video?
If we have it, I think we have a camera here.
Okay,
There we
I just
go.
brought a little gift in for the radio station, and it's, what does it say? It says, everyone brings joy to this office, some when they enter, some when they leave. So
It's quite easy.
I love these little signs that can be quite inspiring and cute, you know, and it's like, oh, I just thought, yeah, maybe they like that, you know.
It's
I'm
great.
sure they do some good work, so that's for you and your people, your
Thank
staff.
you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so
So
just
you
wanted
can.
to-
We've got
yeah.
a couple of questions if you
Okay.
want to answer them.
Yes.
I think the first one is about. Oh, I don't even know.
I was just wondering if I can I just quickly
Of
go through
course
this
you
really
can,
quickly,
yeah.
and then we'll get to the questions. So
Okay.
this is my core flute. It's just an A4 copy, but I'm getting these, waiting for the printing coming and all my flyers. And I have a flyer too, which is just black and white, because black and white is, to me, stands out, you know. So I just really quickly just say what, being a practical person, what I'll do for the voters of Secret Harbour. Now, there's 31,689 reasons why the voters should vote for me.
Yep.
And do you know what that number is?
No.
That's the number of voters in the Secret Harbour
Right.
electorate, okay? So, you know, if everyone knew what I was fighting for, their rights and freedoms, I'd get 100% of the first preference vote. Now, what I've said on my core flute and my flyer, some of the things I've said, I've got my website, I've got Bill of Rights, community projects, living cost law, cost of living law, and small business and jobs. So that's just some of the things I fight for. But this is what I've said. I've said here, that I'm Australian-born teacher and, you know, I've master's education, etc. But what I guarantee you 100%, and this is what I've published on my flyer and my core flute, what I guarantee you 100% is Monday to Friday, meet you out the front of my office from 8:30 a.m. with a chair and a cup of tea to talk with you, listen to you, do activities and projects with you, advocate for your rights and freedoms in person, in writing, in every way we can. So
That's great, isn't it?
thank you. So what I'm getting at is not inside the office.
Yes.
I will literally at 8:30 drag my chair out the front on the pavement with the cup of tea and invite the voters to be there, to bring their chair, bring their cup of tea, and then I'll have Monday to Friday, and I'll have 5 big schedules on my window: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and they can book me up, okay? So they can book, you know, Teresa, we want you to come with us to do the Busy Bee for 2 hours here, you know. Maybe have a homeless project that we have with a group. If workers want their CV updated, I'll sit with them and, you know, fix up their CV. If they want to get a job, I'll sit with them, I'll go with them to the small business people and help them get a job. Literally, I'll go with them to go to the business. And also, if they want to, you know, like, or get into an educational course in a university, or, you know, some course or something, and they want a letter, I'll sit with them and type up a letter and sign it for them. So, you know, I'll basically be the slave of the electorate. They can drag me out here and there, but we can together come up with, like, projects.
And that's what people want. I think people want people to, you know, not to say, but I think they want people to do.
Yes, and action, you know. There's so many things that can be done. There's so many things. Look, I love the idea of having busy bees, you know, where what we could say 2 hours here, 2 hours there, go to some elderly people's homes and, help them with the gardening, do some gardening, a bit of cleaning in the house, some maintenance work, whatever. People with disabilities who need a bit of a hand up or, some encouragement and some support and that community connection. So it could be a volunteer group for that. So we go out to, that can book it up, okay, and they meet at the front of the office. So they're always meeting at the front of the office at that time. And then people can come along and they can always say, look at the schedule and say, I want to do that on Thursday. I want to join in on Friday. I want to do this Wednesday. Or want to, try to find a time where they can book to help them with whatever it is, the practical help. Now, I'll literally sleep in that office sometimes too during the week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, what I do, I don't have a house in the electorate. I'll be honest with you. I do have a private, silent elector because of safety purposes. But I will rent a room in somebody's home in the electorate, okay? And the other thing, on the way here, I was thinking, what else can I do? Because with the homeless people, I have in Melbourne and Sydney and I did in Adelaide and Perth, I did over 5 years for a project with the homeless. Food, blankets, clothing, toiletries, all this. But, there should be a park in every electorate where people can go and set up tents to stay, because the council's unfortunately been terrorising the homeless people with the police sometimes, and that's very bad. But even sometimes I will set up my tent with them in the electorate and be with them sometimes in my tent, because, you have to have that connection. But the other thing is, we can connect with them and we can do things like when there's trust built up, okay, and also tell the councils, no, you're not going to terrorise the homeless people. That's disgusting and violent. But we could build up that rapport, and people in the electorate, once they get to know them and they build up that rapport, we can help them try and get a job. Even if they're living in a tent, they can still we can help them get a job. We can help them get accommodation. People may be prepared to rent a room, but once they build up that rapport and trust, and there has to be conditions, because it's very hard to trust people when you don't know them, right? But it could be that the person, may take weeks to build up that trust. It may take weeks, but then there would be, conditions like, they have to be working part-time or looking for a job or looking at trying to get into a course. But we can write letters for them and advocate for their rights to try to help them get into those jobs. I'll tell you one thing, I met a homeless man in, I think it was Sydney, and it's just one example. And he told me that he was doing a master's in a university while he was homeless.
Oh, wow.
So where there's a will, there's a way.
Correct.
The possibilities are endless when the community comes up with the answers and works together. Do you know what I mean?
So if we can, there's just a couple of questions here. I think maybe that this one is very much a topic of people's Secret Harbour and Rockingham.
That's the defence project.
What are your thoughts on AUKUS? Do you have any?
Well, what are the actual plans for the area with this?
Well, I just know that there's a thing called AUKUS, which involves, I think nuclear submarines.
Yeah, nuclear submarines.
Yeah.
Well, it's my view is that it's up to the electorate what they want. Do they want this? Do they want?
Do you have a viewpoint on it?
Well, I think we have an alliance with the United States and Europe, and that's a very important historical alliance for defence purposes. Yeah. And so we need a strong military, I do think that. And then it depends on what the electorate wants. What does the voters want? So I'm not going to just force my views on the vote. Do you know what I mean?
Think maybe the electorate wants to know what are your views.
Well, they would have to tell me their views.
Before you can...
Yes, okay. The voters will have to tell me their views and what they want before I could say anything on that one.
And what's the other one? Will the candidates take homelessness seriously and provide housing together with a mentor? We've already sort of answered that one anyway.
I think there has to be. I would like to see Australia build 1 million homes across Australia in country towns, and I even costed it through the banking system at $250 billion. which would be $250,000 homes, but it can be funded through the banking system. Now, I've got some big ideas on economics, and I taught economics in social studies, politics, economics, history, geography, and also sport and phys ed. So we need to build like 1 million homes, seriously, across Australia. We need more homes. And there's also in the Bill of Rights, property rights. So I think that property owners should be able to subdivide outside of the council so that, minimum 500 square metres. So people that have got 2 acres or an acre, and they can subdivide and sell their land. So we have a supply problem of housing. And so I've got some very firm ideas about how to fix that too, that subdivisions must be able to be proceeded with 2 professionals, and that's it. And the councils should not be able to interfere with property rights like that and only have maybe one rule, and that's 2-story. But then the property owners can sell their land, they can sell it, and they make it much easier to buy land and cheaper, and then build homes which can be secured through a better banking system. So I want to see a new tax law, a new banking law, a cost of living law as well. So we need physically to build more homes, and then, materials and all that, and all the business people need to be supported, the small business people and all the manufacturers and the building materials. All these business people, they really need to be supported because they create, the small business sector creates 70% of jobs. So I'm full on for small business, absolutely full on. And trashing all this bureaucracy and getting rid of these costs, state government costs and state government costs and charges, which is, I don't know if you've got a question about cost of living. How much time have we got? I'm just thinking.
Yeah, we're about to have to sort of wind up because what we do here is, Teresa, we give everybody half an hour.
Yes,
so
yes.
we're just about out, so perhaps...
Cost of living, can I just finish on that one?
Just finish on cost of living. That's good.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, what I promote is a cost of living law. It's in my political website. It's on my flyers. Now, the cost of living law is really, really important. It could be a state cost of living law. It can be a Commonwealth cost of living law. Has to be all the essential services like gas, water, electricity, and we need the base rate reduced. Okay, an economic cap. What's called in economics is a price ceiling. So an economic cap on the charges for the base rate charges and the supply charges. Also, it must be quarterly billing. So under the model I create, it's 29 cents a kilowatt for electricity, for example. Now, in other nations, they have like 9 cents a kilowatt, 10 cents a kilowatt. It's outrageous. These politicians letting the electricity and the essential service companies do what they want, and that's very bad. Okay, that's very bad. So you put an economic cap on the base rate charge at 10 cents a kilowatt, and then must be quarterly billing, and then the supply charge should be $20 a quarter. So that'll drop a $300 electricity bill every 2 months. They shouldn't be allowed to do every 2 months. It'll drop it to $100 a quarter with electricity. So that's reducing it by 2/3 of the cost. We must have a cost of living law, right? There's so many things that can be done economically to fix the cost of living. Water in Western Australia, the cost is disgusting. Now, in South Australia, you pay $70 a quarter for water. Now, West Australia, they've got this horrible sewerage charge. Okay, this is the politicians' fault. Labor, Liberal, whatever. They're absolutely to blame. That's a disgusting fee. It's the sewerage charge at $240 every 2 months. They're billing every 2 months. And there must be, massively slashed and economically capped to $50 or even $20. Say $20 a quarter for the sewerage charge. That's it. They are oppressing the people of Western Australia with this disgusting water cost. And then the supply charge, again, it should be $20 a quarter. Okay? And we must get these costs down. Gas, water, electricity. Now also registrations. All state government fees and charges will be in this cost of living law that I'll fight like hell to get. Car registrations. You're paying $850 a year. It must be capped at $250 a year. Your car should be costing only $250 a year maximum to register. That's it. And truck, buses, cars, caravans, trailers, just slash it, put it a cap. So no, a law that says the state politicians, they're criminals. I'm sorry. You cannot charge the people these essential services, licensing, driver's licensing, all sorts of costs, small business costs. They must be capped and slashed. And we can go through the full list of all these state government charges and fees. The fines must be abolished. The fines and toll system is so abusive and disgusting that must be abolished, okay? And then, you know, maybe give the police powers just to go after real dangerous criminals as well, but also give them 1 to 10 days community service for just minor things. Not this money thing. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
if
sorry,
people
I
want-
don't, maybe,
that's okay.
have I
If
gone
peop-
over time?
Yeah,
I hope not.
we'll just say if people want to contact you, Teresa, how do they
Yes.
do it? Have you got a web page and a phone number?
Yes, I've got a website, voterrightsparty.com, and mobile. Call me on my mobile, 0413 638
Just say that number again.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
0413 638 671. And people, voters, can call me. I'll come and see you in person, your little group or yourself, whatever, your family.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks,
Teresa.
Nick. Good on you.